Today we're going to talk about combining like terms. We're going to watch a video, the one that you're watching right now. We're going to practice with a sheet and on completing that, and we're going to complete it and put it on our interactive notebook on page 46B. That's going to cover the page that we talked about, the history and making that connection. You're going to watch two ed puzzles. One of them is a math antics math puzzle dealing with combining like terms. The second video you're going to watch is also combining like terms with Mr. J. You're going to answer questions to both of those, and those will be 2 classwork grades. You will have the opportunity to do them twice, so if you do them and don't want the grade that you have or feel like you could do better, you can try it a second time. And then finally, the time that's left, you'll have to work on homework number 45, which is a worksheet on combining like terms. And that worksheet's going to be a front and a back. So we're going to start with combining like terms so that we can talk about how that works. So with combining like terms, we're putting together terms that have the same types of variables. So remember we said when a variable did not have a coefficient, it was a 1. So if I have 1x and I put 2 x's with it, I'm going to combine those two like terms. So those two like terms together, being both of them having x, is going to be a 3x. For number 2, notice it's subtraction. So when we have subtraction, we can change that to addition by KCC. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to change subtraction to addition, and I'm going to take x and make it a negative x. That's 1 negative x. So 2 positive x's and 1 negative x is going to leave just 1 positive x. So that is simplified. When we look at number 3, we have 4 x's, and we're going to put 2 x's with that. So when we add that together, we're going to have a total of 6 x's. All of these are pretty simple, as all of these from 1 through 9 have just 1x. When we get to the exponents, we're going to see it's very similar to that. So I need you to stop the video and complete through number 12, and then restart the video to check your work. Okay, you've had a chance to complete that, and so now we're going to look at each of those. If I have 6 x's and I take 3 x's the way it's away, it's the same as adding a negative 3x, and that's going to be a 3x. If I have 5 x's and add 1 more x with it, it's going to be 6x. If I have 2 x's and 2 more x's, it's going to be a 4x. If I have 7 x's and take 5 x's away, it's the same as adding a negative 5x, and that's going to be a 2x. If I have 3 x's and take away 2 x's, it's the same as adding a negative 2x for 1 positive x. If I have 1x here and 1x here, that's going to be 2 x's. Notice now I have, for this next part, exponents. And notice that the exponents are the same. So this is an x squared and this is an x squared. I have 1 here and I have 2 here. So when I put those together, I'm going to end up with 3x squared. So you're only adding the coefficients. The x squared is the unknown. That's the same for both. If I have 4x squared minus 3x squared, I can change that to plus negative, and if I have 4 and take away 3, it's going to leave 1x squared. If I have 3x squared and 2x squared, 3 plus 2 is 5. The x squared does not change. The variable is unknown, so we can't change that. Now we're going to combine both x's and x squares. So we're going to combine the like terms. If I look carefully, I have both of these with the variable of x. If I use a different color, I can see that these two are like terms. So I'm putting those together. Okay, so if I have 2 x's and 1x, that's going to be 3x squared. If I have a 2x and a 1x, that's going to be plus 3x. So we're combining those like terms. So I can, when I have subtraction, change that to addition and a negative. So if I look at the 2 terms that have just the x, that's the 5x and the negative 2x. If I look at the other 2, I have an x squared and an x squared. So those 2 I can put together. Those are my like terms. So when I add that together, a positive 5x and a negative 2x is going to be 3x. And to that, I'm going to add x squared, and x squared is going to be a 2x squared. So we're looking at the terms that have the same variables, okay, with the same exponent. So for number 15, I have a 3x, a 2x, and a negative x. Remember, that x can be a plus negative. So all of those I'm going to put together. This is the only one that I have that's an x squared. So if I have 3 plus 2 is 5, and a negative 1 is going to be a 4x, and then I'm going to add on that to 2x squared. So notice the only thing we're doing is adding the coefficients because that's how many we have. Looking at the next one, I want to change my subtraction to addition. So that's going to be a plus negative x plus negative x squared. If I highlight those terms that we have that are the same, a 6x, a negative x, those two are the same. If I look carefully at my x squares, I have a positive 3x squared and I have a negative x squared. When I add that together, it's going to be positive 6x and a negative x is going to be a 5x. And then if I put these two together, I have 3 positives and 1 negative. It's going to be plus 2x squared. Stop the video to go ahead and complete the rest, and we'll come back and check those once you've had a chance to do that. Okay, I have completed with answers shown. What I did was highlight the like terms the same color. You will notice that sometimes if I had, for example, in number 17, the 3 was a constant. It was by itself. It was the only one. So I combined the two like terms that are both in yellow. They both have a variable of x. The x squared is a different kind of variable. It is not the same as x because it's being pulled to the second power. So you will see that I have these two together as 3x, then plus the x squared, then plus the 3. So you'll notice that in 18 I have 3 terms that all have an x as part of the term. 2 x's, 3 x's, and 1 more gives me a total of 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 1 more is 6x. And then I put the 9 on the end. So take a second to pause your video to go ahead and check your answers for 13 through 26. The 2 ed puzzles that have been assigned is more of this, and hopefully it'll give you a better understanding. This was a really quick going over some examples with combining like terms, but the 2 videos will help you with your understanding of this. Make sure this is put on page 46B. Watch video 1 ed puzzle, video 2 ed puzzle, and then you will have your homework to work on, which is more combining like terms, and that is going to be a worksheet that is front and back. We will go over both homeworks tomorrow on Thursday in class. The one that you had with the terms that we use in algebra, as well as homework number 45 that you're going to work on in class and then finish for homework. Don't forget you also have the iReadies. Make sure that you look at what's listed in Google Classroom to make sure that you have completed all the required work.